All right, Detroit Lions lose. Look like it's going to be 42-30 versus the Minnesota. Get this right, Vikings. Appreciate everybody for checking in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button. Share the video. Some other news came up is that Matthew Stafford was the quickest, and the youngest to 40,000 passing yards. But I'll talk about that later in the night and what that means. Talk about the stats real quick because I got a lot to talk about. Kirk Cousins was phenomenal today. All to talk about, Kirk Cousins this. 337, 24 for 34, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Dalvin Cook carried the ball 25 times, 2 touchdowns, 142. Stephon Diggs was big today. He had a lot of big catches. He had 142 yards through the air, 7 out of 8 targets he caught. And I believe I'm not sure if he got a touchdown or not, but I know Thielen, he went out early with a touchdown, and Irv Smith, the rookie, he was 5 out of 6 targets, 60 yards as well. And Stafford, he had an interception late trying to heave it down. He was 364 yards through the air, 30 for 45. I was surprised the Lions had a lot of success through the air through this Vikings defense. They not as good as they used to be. Even rushing the passer, but we'll talk about that. Kerryon Johnson, he got injured. Don't even know where to talk about that. Marvin Jones had a huge day. He caught 10 out of 12 targets, 4 touchdowns, 93 yards. The majority of those touchdowns, I believe, was on Stephon Diggs. Galladay didn't do much today. Hockenson hasn't did shit since week 1, but dropped touchdown balls and dropped critical balls. Story of the game, it's been the story of the Lions the last 20 years. The offense and defense and special teams can never have a good game together. They never can string good games together. Once again, the defense had a lot of injuries. Snacks went out. Slay went out. Snacks came back in. Some other guys again. Jerry Davis went out. He came back in. He had a blown coverage. Him and Tavai had a blown coverage on one of those late touchdowns. To Kyle Rudolph, I think they caught that touchdown. But Patricia defense is broke today. All that man coverage, now being able to get a pass rush. I swear, Patricia and Don Brown are sleeping together or they long lost brothers because they got the same philosophy. Only difference is Don Brown understands when you play man coverage, you might have to send 4 or 5. More than 4. You might have to send 5. And Patricia and Pasqualoni is the opposite of that. They want to rush less. They want to rush 3 and they want to rush 4. They really don't want to send 5 or 6. They play a ton of man. And when you play as much man as Patricia and the Lions play today, you got 3 good receivers over there. Irv Smith is going to be a phenomenal tight end in this league. You got Diggs and Dylan over there. They're going to eat man coverage up all day, especially if you allow Kirk Cousins time to work in the pocket. And that's what they did. People just talking about, Kirk Cousins suck. Kirk Cousins suck in the most important games. When there's no pressure on Kirk Cousins and when there's no blitzes coming at Kirk Cousins, when you don't hit Kirk Cousins early, Kirk Cousins is going to have a tremendous amount of success. And the Lions didn't bother him with pressure early. They got back there a couple times, but I don't even believe they sacked him. And he tore him up. And all you asking is Diggs to beat a Coleman or beat a Melvin. You asking Thielen to beat a Coleman or a Slay or a Melvin. And they did that. You know what I'm saying? They absolutely beat their man. You know what I'm saying? They beat him like a drum, like from drumline. And, that's the problem. When you're not getting pressure up front, man coverage don't matter. That's the difference. When you play different quarterbacks is coverage. Pre-snap read, they in man coverage with a robber. I know maybe I'm going to throw a corner route because I know I'm going to get man on man. I know I don't want to throw the post because they got the robber or they got the safety over the top. You know what I'm saying? I know the drag routes, the shallow crossing routes, the crossing routes, the comeback routes, the deep end routes. I know all those routes are available. You know what I'm saying? And when you play all that man-to-man coverage with no blitzing and no pressure, this is gonna happen. They're not playing like Green Bay with a depleted receiving core. Like the Vikings have two of the best receivers out there in Diggs and Thielen, and then Thielen went out. Imagine if Thielen didn't go out. They Lions, they probably would have put up 50 points. So, you know, at the end of the day, I didn't know the Lions was that bad on third down. I think got the highest third down conversion rate, against their defense. The run defense is pathetic. They got a lot of injuries down there as well. The pass rush is pathetic. I listened to Mike Lombardi on 97.1 The Ticket today. He was talking about the Lions, and they just don't have a lot of team speed. You know what I'm saying? And I was saying that about the offense. They, defensively, they just don't have a lot of pass rushing. They just don't have enough talent to do what Patricia want to do. And Patricia don't take enough chances blitzing. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to give up big plays, at least go out like Don Brown. At least go out blitzing. But this bend don't break defense. It's breaking, but I mean, it is what it is. The offense, at the end of the day, Stafford was really good today. He's putting it on a frozen rope. Him and Marvin had a great connection. Galladay didn't have the best day today. I think he had a drop maybe. I know Marvin had a drop, but he made up on it on the same drive with a touchdown. Hockenson is non-existent. They drafted him very, very high, but once again, I told you guys you have to be patient with rookie tight ends. It's just a lot. You got to know the blocking schemes. You got to know you might have to know the slot receiver. You might have to know a little bit of X receiver. You might have to know the fullback. You might have to know a lot of different things, a lot of different positions, the line audibles, you know what I'm saying? Your own receiving audibles and stuff. So you gotta know a lot of plays, and it's hard for a rookie tight end to come in and have that impact, man. And with Irv Smith, he getting off to a slow start. He was a good tight end out of Alabama, winning the second round. So, like I said at the beginning of the season, don't expect that Hockenson to have a huge year. The tight end position is a position of development, and Bob Quinn, he looked at the talent, but basically that's going to be it's going to cure interest down the line. But right now, Hockenson, he just got to learn his way. Don't mean he's going to be a bust. I don't believe so. I think he's going to be a great player, but tight end too hard, and the Lions needed more impact players, and they need more speed on offense. But Stafford was good today. They had found they had some success running the ball until Kerryon got injured, and Tyler Johnson and J.D. McKissick had to come in. But this is why you don't cut C.J. Anderson. But they cut Anderson for whatever reason it was. He still ain't got picked up. But overall, the defense didn't hold up their end of the bargain today. Matthew Stafford did everything in his power to win the game. He had a few drops, but the season over with for these guys. You know what I'm saying? I said it after the Green Bay game. They won't make the playoffs with this roster, man. I think the guy's playing tough for Patricia, but his defensive scheme is not complete because he doesn't have the pass rushers up front. And I said it about Trey Flowers. A lot of Lions fans are optimistic, and they want me to curb my opinion to make them feel better, but I'm going to keep it real. I'm not paying no dude like Trey Flowers who that much money who ain't a difference maker. He don't make a difference on the line. Now, if you put a Deshaun Hand down there with him, you put a Von Miller, Khalil Mack down there with him, then you can see the difference. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't deserve that money he got here. He didn't deserve it. He don't make enough of an impact on the line. You pay a guy all that line. You the way what Chicago paid Khalil Mack, and the difference they got then and there, that's the difference you looking for from a guy like Trey Flowers or something similar to that. He not even a great value brand of Khalil Mack for the Detroit Lions. And like I said, Deshaun Hand loss was bigger than we all thought it was, man. And they need that pressure from the line. You pay that man all that money, and the run defense sucked, and the pass defense still sucked. And what Patricia trying to do defensively, he don't have the cogs for. He don't have to speed that linebacker other than Davis. And he don't have the front. Now, if the front was dominant and they was getting pressure, Darius Slay looked a lot better. Rashad Melvin looked like a lot better. The secondary is pretty good. Tavon Wilson be getting beat like a stepchild, but he's a he's a backup guy, but they don't have the defensive line to play the rush 3 and rush 4 and to play coverage in the back end. You know, at the end of the day, they want to rob with the safety, or they want to play 2-man under. That's cool, but you got to get pressure. When Kirk Cousins got all day to chop you up, it is what it is. This loss ain't on the offense. This loss on the defense. In the offensive line, they blocked well. They gave up a couple sacks late in the game or in the second half. They blocked well. They opened up some holes for Kerryon, but once again, he get injured. But they held up well in the trenches. The offense played they played good enough to win the game. Yeah, you can't score on every drive and this and that, but defensively, they getting wore out because teams are figuring them out and they playing teams with better receivers. And Patricia and Pasqualoni gonna be stuck in their ways, and they not going to admit that they need to switch it up and they need to blitz more or whatever. You playing man coverage, one-on-one man coverage with not that much help over the top versus that Diggs and Thielen, and that last Diggs deep post down the field on Coleman. You know, they called that. They knew like, man, we gonna play action. We're gonna do max protect. We're gonna do this deep post down the field, and our guy gonna beat that guy. Coleman was beat down versus Green Bay. You don't think people look at that tape? If some unknown 6'5" receiver from Green Bay can beat Coleman on a 9 route, why can't we beat him on the post route with no safety? But that's impossible. I'm sounding like I'm talking about the same thing I talked about in the Michigan game yesterday about Don Brown defensively. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm talking about the same thing. At the end of the day, one-on-one coverage, when you look at 7-on-7 drills, and people say, well, this guy getting smoked on 7-on-7 drills. You don't have a live pass rush. 7-on-7 drills, it favors the offense because it's 2-on-1. It's the quarterback and the receiver versus the DB. That's the same thing that Michigan playing. It's the same thing that the Lions playing. Because there ain't no live rush coming. I mean, it's no rush coming up front. Now, Don Brown, he will blitz. But once you pick up that blitz and you one-on-one on the island, come on. I like my guy versus his guy, especially with the rules. His guy, the DB can't look at the ball, really. All he can really do is play the receiver. He can play the quarterback in the beginning of the play. He playing the receiver, and then he look at the receiver and look up and play the ball. Same thing with Detroit Lions. The difference is they ain't sending 5. They ain't sending 6. Sometimes they ain't even rushing 4. They rushing 3 or 4, and all of a sudden it's your guy versus his guy. I mean, who you gonna take? Diggs, Thielen, Slade, Melvin, Slade, Diggs. You gonna take them? Irv Smith on one of the Lions linebackers. You gonna take them all day? You gonna take them? I'm gonna trust my guy to beat your guy all day. You can't just play that much man coverage and blitz every time or not. Or you got to, what quarterbacks do is, this is the name of the quarterback game. They line up if they want to see what you're doing. Oh, they ain't, oh, I'm going to move the receiver. Oh, they in man coverage. I know what I got underneath. If they don't move and it's zone coverage, then the linebacker might shift over to chip or whatever. That's how quarterbacks do. It's a process of elimination. That's what it is. It's knowing what coverage they in, knowing how to beat the coverage, knowing what route I got and what I'm favorable to beat the coverage, knowing if my hot route is this route or I got another route that I think should be the hot route versus coverage. It's process of elimination. And I know you in man coverage, man, they got man beaters all day, especially when you got horses like Diggs and Thielen. And Patricia need to switch it up. Either they need to play more man or they need to blitz or they need to upgrade their roster. And right now, I agree with Mike Lombardi said on 97 won the ticket. They don't have the horses. They don't have the team speed to compete right now at the upper echelon level. But I do think they're headed in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? But Patricia is that bend don't break. He got to take chances. He don't have enough aggression with his defense, in my opinion, man. He don't have enough aggression. You know, but they spent all that money with Trey Flowers. And he not making a huge difference right now. But I think that will help once they get Daniels or they get Hand back, or they need to add some pass rushers, but it ain't helping right now. But hey, it is what it is. Congratulations to the Vikings. They got the dub today. Other than that, man, I don't have too much to say. I speak on Stafford 40,000 yards a little bit later, man. But really, it don't mean nothing when it lost. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Don't forget we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You want to reach out to the email if you got business questions, inquiries, sponsorship, video requests. Keep sharing the videos. Appreciate the love, support. Want to make a donation? The link's in the description. Check my other channel, Wild Goodfellas Sports TV. One time for the one time Mercy Sports Talk. We gone.